Alrighty, folks, you ready to head down the rabbit hole with me on this one? This is gonna be great. You're gonna love this one, guys. You're gonna love this one, guys. This is great. All right, longtime biographer Peter Wolf is claiming that Lindsey Graham is a closeted gay. And if I read this correctly, and admittedly I could be misinterpreting it, but if I read it correctly, Wolf's latest claims is that Trump was pressuring Graham because he was a closeted gay, and that this pressure may have caused Lindsey to take his own life. I'm not even making this shit up. If I understood it correctly, I mean, hey, I can misunderstand things. I'm human. And I'm like, what kind of bizarro world have I just walked into? But not even kidding. And Wolf has stated this, and Laura Loomer has stated this, that Lindsey Graham has been a long-time closeted gay man. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this the same Lindsey Graham that's been married for years and years and years and has constantly denied being gay? I don't understand. I don't get it. But the thing of it is that Wolf had to spin it to make it sound like Trump was being mean to Lindsey Graham, or was using homosexuality as a sword of Damocles. I don't know. I'm sitting there reading it, and I mean, I'm walking away from it thinking, was this man trying to say that Trump killed Lindsey Graham? I mean, it's starting to sound that way, right? I mean, he did not come out and say that, okay? But it just, the way he was wording it, the way it was worded, the way it was implicated. And it's like, man, what in the hell kind of crap have I jumped? I mean, talk about Trump derangement syndrome. This is off the fucking charts, man. And it's like, oh my God. Now, on the opposite side of this whole damn thing is a staffer that is reporting that they went in and talked with Lindsey just prior to his death. He was happy. He was excited because Trump had approved his legislation to go after Russia. So we're getting mixed signals here now, aren't we? Because you got one staffer saying that Lindsey Graham is happy with Trump and excited about what Trump is doing. And you got Wolf saying that Trump is this mean guy that's browbeating. But let's continue. All right, so this staffer met with Lindsey just before he died, literally hours before he died, said he was happy, he was jovial, he was excited, said that Trump had approved his legislation to go after Russia, and he was literally on cloud nine. But does that sound like somebody's going to commit suicide to you? No. Okay, so it's not looking too good for Wolf's side of the story now, is it? No. Because obviously a man that's happy is not going to commit suicide. But anyways, so now this legislation, all right, which has broad bipartisan support, I'll spit it out, Republicans and Democrats, is going to give Trump more tariff power to use against Russia and countries that are giving financial aid to Russia. Now, this is where I step in and say I don't like the smell of this, because it could anger the Russian people, and I don't want the Russian people angry at me, because it could be very easily misconstrued as almost personal attack. And I don't think that's I don't like the smell of this. But the thing of it is that for the sake of the narrative here that we're going with right now, you got Republicans and Democrats. They're all on board for this, and they want to put the hammer down on Russia and the countries that are giving them aid and support. And what this supposedly what this legislation would do is it would allow Trump to be able to implement new tariffs, more powerful tariffs, against any country that is giving aid and comfort to Russia. So I don't know. I'm not too happy with the legislation because it doesn't sound good to me. It sounds almost personal to me, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But does this sound like a man that's suicidal? Does this sound like a man that has Trump just, hovering over him like a damn vulture? No. No, it does not. And so I think Wolf may have an axe to grind there somewhere. Now, Laura Loomer says that she's getting this information from various staffers within the Trump administration. Maybe, maybe not. Who cares? And the man's gone anyway. So, I mean, what the hell? But I always thought the man was happily married. I didn't know anything about him being gay at all. Don't really care, to be honest. But I mean, but I always thought he was married. But maybe not. I don't know. Shit. I don't know. Don't care. Not in my purview. But the thing of it is that this legislation, broad bipartisan support, started by Lindsey Graham, approved by Donald Trump allegedly, and Lindsey, just before he was gone, was on cloud nine, happy as a clam. And so I mean, but then that brings us back to the point. Okay, so he died suddenly. There was some preliminary reports that it may have been a headache. Listen to me, may have been a heart attack. Those have now been swept away, and we're back to died suddenly again. Sorry, guys, we're back to died suddenly again. Okay, so, I'm curious to know, and I wanted to know what was going on before he passed, and now we know, right? You got a staffer said they went in there, and he was all excited. He was bubbly. He was excited. Trump had approved his legislation, and there's absolutely nothing there. It's a big fat nothing burger, as far as, Trump may have done this or somebody may have done that, and there was so we're back to trying to figure out what in the hell was going on with Graham and what happened to cause what happened. Like I said, there was preliminary reports that it was a heart attack. Those have been all swept away, and we're back to died suddenly again. Just read an article just a few minutes ago that said died suddenly. All right, and it was fresh. It was current. All right, so we're back to died suddenly again. The heart attack thing, gone. Back to died suddenly. So, so now I'm back to square one on trying to figure out, what was the situation that led up to Lindsey Graham being unalive. And so now we're back to square one again. We got absolutely nothing. We got big fat nothing burger. And so I don't know, man. The Wolf thing. Wolf being a biographer, and I think he was even a biographer for Trump at one point, believe it or not. And for him to float that idea that Trump, was constantly hammering Graham about being a closeted gay, and then now suddenly he dies, and it's almost like Wolf is trying to implicate that Trump may have had a hand in his passing, which I don't believe for one second. I think that's ludicrous. But what did cause the events of that day to occur, and got nothing, man. Got nothing. But I wanted to show you the polar opposites of this thing, because it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre, man. And now, I say, well, is this legislation going to pass? I don't know. I don't know. I tried to go through and the articles by Time Magazine, in case anybody's wondering. I tried to scroll down to find out if it's going to be, I mean, obviously with Lindsey Graham's passing, and him the key architect of the legislature, I don't know if they're going to put it back on the House floor or what. It's crazy. It's crazy. But if they do, I, for one, don't like the smell of it. I don't like the smell of it. It seems a little too personal, maybe, to me. But that's me. I think there's more to this whole Ukraine thing than we're being told anyway. I mean, you have Russia, a superpower, and then you have Ukraine, and Putin, who I'm sitting there, ex-Spetsnaz, ex-KGB, hua gung-ho, and I'm like, why didn't he take Kyiv on the first fucking day and end the Ukraine war right then? Boom, done. And it's like, it just doesn't, the Ukraine thing just does not pass the smell test. It does not pass the smell test. So I don't know. This is a mess. It's a mess. But I don't particularly like the legislation myself. I'm trying my level best to get Trump, Putin, and Xi Jinping all on the same page, literally, to sign non-aggressive pact for all three of them. I would like for that legislation to be signed plain English, or Chinese or Russian, but plain. None of these out those shit. Nothing that can be twisted to mean something else. Make it plain as day, common everyday talk, right? And there will be absolutely no aggression between China, Russia, and the United States. This is what the ETs want. And to be honest, this is what I want. Because I don't want a third world war, which is what Albert Pike wants, which is what Frank Parsons wants, which is what Aleister Crowley wants. And these three men were evil men. And Albert Pike just come right out and said it. Yeah, I worship Lucifer, what the fuck? He come right out and said it, These men were evil men. The news of the day reported that they were. Okay, so it's not something that I'm dreaming up in my head. This was actually reported. Big ass headline. Most evil man in the world, and then it's got Aleister Crowley's face. All right. So this was actually reported on in the media of the day, and it's like these three people want a third world war really, really, really bad. And I don't want to give them that. I don't want to give them that. And so I'm sitting there thinking, these tariffs, these new tariffs that Trump would have to piss off not only Russia, but anybody that helps Russia in any way, I just don't know if it's. I don't. I think we may be pushing the bar a little too high in that regard, and that it could come back and bite us in the ass later, and I don't want that. I do not want that. But that's me. That's my personal, you know, and I'm not privy to whatever backdoor deals and secret meetings there might have been, if any. But you know, for me, I don't know. I don't know if this is good. But I'm sitting there wondering, you know, why Putin didn't take Kyiv in like the first fucking day. I'm just like, hello, Blitzkrieg came out when 1940, and that he didn't use Blitzkrieg. Why? Why didn't he use Blitzkrieg? Something is just off about this whole Ukraine thing. I can't put my finger on it, but there's just something totally off about this whole Ukraine thing. I do not think that Russia is getting bombarded by missiles from Ukraine. I'm not buying it. I'm just not. And you got Zelensky running around like it's a fucking spring day, and like he's getting ready to entertain guests. And it's like, the fuck, man? Where's the war? It's like, remember anybody besides me remember those old Wendy's commercials? Where's the beef? Where's the beef? Where's the beef? You know, where's the war? You know, you got Zelensky running around with diplomats like it's a spring day, and you don't hear a peep from the Russian people or Putin or anybody that there's been these massive missile attacks on Mother Russia, especially on Moscow. Holy fuck. And it's like, it's almost like it's a choreographed thing to me, almost. I'm just not buying it. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying this shit. But having said that, I want to make damn sure that Albert Pike, Aleister Crowley, and Frank Parsons do not get their third World War. Because if they get their third World War, it is a blood sacrifice to their demon gods, Moloch and Hubal. And it could plunge humanity into a very, very bad place. And I don't want that. I don't want that. Now, the ETs are not looking at it from a religious perspective like I am. They're looking at it from, you know, hey, we hate nuclear weapons to begin with, and so we sure as fuck don't want the whole damn world engulfed in nuclear radiation. That's that's the way they're looking at it. And, you know, either way of looking at it, you know, Putin, like Putin said, and he got it from me, I believe he got it from me, but because I've said it myself. You know, you got the jet stream up here, right? You got the jet stream up here. And then you got the Gulf Stream down here, okay? In a nuclear exchange of any kind, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter when, doesn't matter how. In a nuclear exchange of any kind, that jet stream and that Gulf Stream is going to spread that radiation all over the world. No one is going to escape. No one. All right? You know, because, you know, some people get in their head, well, we're going to launch our missiles before they launch their missiles, and therefore we'll be okay. No. No, you will not. No, you will not. Because that jet stream up there and this Gulf Stream down here is going to spread that radiation right back on you eventually. Now, I'll give you a fact that might take a day or two, but it's going to come back on you because it's going to spread it all over the world. And this is another reason why we cannot allow them a third world war. Cannot be allowed. And then, you know, from a Christian perspective, you've got the book of Revelations. And if you read that book in its entirety, it's is pure crazy that we don't need, that we definitely do not need. We don't need any of that. So the idea is to make damn sure, because people say, oh, well, why did we get involved in Iran? Iran's always made these grand boasts before. Well, the thing of it is, Iran has been trying to make a bomb, and then they'll get close, and then we'll stop them. Well, apparently, they were close to making it again, and so this time we had to go in and we had to stop them again. They always were bringing it back up, and now Trump alleges that the Obama administration gave Iran the impetus to make a bomb again. I don't know if that's true, don't care. But one thing I do know is that Iran, by making the bomb and threatening to use it, by the way, would have been a catalyst for World War III. And we can't have that. We cannot have that, period. Because Iran has already stated publicly and privately they will use it if they get it. So we just can't allow that. Sorry. Can't be allowed. So, the plot thickens, Watson. But, like I said, you can look up Frank Parsons, you can look up Aleister Crowley, you can look up Albert Pike. They want 3 world wars as a blood sacrifice to their demon overlords, Moloch and Hubal. That's what this is about, Alfie, in my humble opinion. Aside from the political ramifications or the ethical ramifications, just not good. It's just not good all the way around. And but I wanted to bring you down the rabbit hole with me because this was just so crazy. I just could not pass up talking about it. Because on one side, you got Wolf sitting there saying, Trump's this evil son of a bitch, and he's beating Lindsay over the head with a baseball bat. And on the other side, you got this staffer who says, oh, man, Lindsay's happy as a clam with Trump because Trump approved his legislation, and he's dancing a jig, and the Republicans and Democrats are all together on this shit, and everybody's happy, everybody's celebrating. So you literally got two totally different stories going on simultaneously. And it's like, what the hell, man? This is just craziness, just insanity. So I wanted to report on this because this is amazing. And I could not resist reporting on this at all. And yes, I know I'm 23 minutes in. Well, I'm just going to have to be 23 minutes in because this was important. This is something that y'all have a right to know about. You need to know what's going on and what's out there, because the more information you have, the better informed decision you can make. Hello? Yes, absolutely. So it's incumbent upon me to make sure you have all the information that's out there. And then you can, do some more research on your own time. And, one thing I would strongly avoid is trying to get into the head of Albert Pike or Frank Parsons or Aleister Crowley. Stay away from them men. They are dangerous. They are evil. Like I said, big fucking headline. Most evil man on earth. That was in the news of the day back in his day. Stay away from these people. Do not try to get in their head. Do not try to understand these men. But Vaughn, they've all got books that I can go pick up and read. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend reading their books. No way in hell. No way in hell. I would not recommend reading their books because it's untelling what, how do you know there isn't some kind of spell or incantation in there that would mess your mind up or something? You gotta be careful, man. Gotta be careful with shit. It is alleged that some grimoires have traps like that. You go to pick up the grimoire to learn its secrets, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you've got this hex on you or some shit, some kind of malady or problem that you need to deal with. So, be advised, keep your head on a swivel. Knowledge is power. Look up, look down, look around. Keep your ears open. There is more to this than meets the eye. There just is. But I don't know what yet. Now, on a little bit of a happier note, I am going to work on getting rid of this heat bubble that has literally engulfed the entire United States. And I know somebody's going to say, well, Vaughn, is this normal? Is this a naturally occurring? Hell no, it ain't. Hell no, it ain't. Well, Vaughn, they're saying it's an El Nino. Yeah, El Ninos still move, guys, okay? And El Nino is still going to go from the west coast to the east coast. It might go slow as fuck, but it's still going to go from the west to the east, okay? This stupid heat bubble is just sitting there on top of us like a damn sumo wrestler, okay? That's not normal. That's not normal. And if it's artificial, I can attack it. So I'm going to look into that, look into seeing about getting rid of this damn heat bubble over us. I tried, bringing in some cold from down north, and unfortunately there was some flooding. That was not me that did that, thankfully. I don't know if that was a reaction from the air coming down from the north and mixing with the heat, and thereby creating massive storms, because usually that's how storms are created. You got the cold air and the hot air, and they bang into each other. Boom, you got a storm. Weather 101, guys. Wow, you learned something. So, but that was not me. I did not cause the flooding. Don't want to cause the flooding. Trying to stop the heat. And so I don't know. It's like when I do something, it gets taken and misused for an even more nefarious purpose than what was originally going on. So, I don't know. I'm going to look into it, though. I promise. I'm going to look into it, see what I can find out. If you are in one of those flood areas, obviously get to higher ground. Call your relatives, call your friends. Make sure nobody's in danger or anything. Nobody's sitting on the roof of their house or something. But I saw that flooding, and it's like, hey, wait a minute, that's dirty pool, and it is. It's dirty pool. So, holy shit, I'm coming up on 30 minutes. I got to get out of here. Anyway, but I thought I'd tell you about this dichotomy of stories that's going on. You got this one extreme, then you got the other extreme. Excuse me. And it's like, how bizarre is that, man? That's just too bizarre to just let go, let slide under my nose and not report on it. So I thought I would share because I can, because I should, and because you have a right to know what you do. So anyway, I'm out of here. Y'all have a wonderful evening and a better tomorrow. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully tomorrow will bring victory in certain aspects. And we'll see. We'll see. Y'all have a good evening, folks. Bye.